Have you ever wondered why students sign up for ESL classes when all the information are available online? There are English tutorials, there are how to learn English videos, and basically everything they need to know about pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and so on. Everything is available online. But why do students sign up for classes with you, Teacher? Well, the answer is they want to learn something that they haven't learned yet. They want to have an opportunity to speak in English. Now, speaking of the first point, they want to learn something they haven't learned yet. That is where the term knowledge extension comes into the picture. Knowledge extension is all about sharing information or knowledge relevant to the lesson and increasing the difficulty of the lesson. By doing these two things, we are able to achieve the goal of knowledge extension, which is to help the students improve their pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, their fluency, or anything that has to do with their English knowledge and proficiency. Now, Teacha, if you want to learn how to better give knowledge extension to children, well, this video is for you. So, let's get started with the video. Let me share the three easiest ways to do knowledge extension when you are teaching children, regardless if they're beginners, intermediate learners, or advanced learners. The first one is to introduce a dialogue or a sentence pattern. Let's say you are teaching the student the concept of a truck or a vehicle or cars. Now, instead of just teaching them that this is a truck, you could say or teach them it's a truck. Let's say you ask a question, what is it? 这是什么? What is it? The student would say truck, but you teach them a sentence pattern, which they must say, it's a truck. Or let's say, what's this? 这是什么? What's this? This is a truck. Now, every single time you ask questions starting with what's this or what is it, they should be able to answer using the sentence pattern that you just taught them. That, my friend, is the easiest way to do knowledge extension because it's not enough that they know that, this is a truck. They must be able to use it in everyday language. They must be able to speak English. And the reason why parents, sign up their kids to have classes with you instead of their kids, playing and resting at home and doing kid stuff, it's because they want their children to speak English. So you better teach them different sentence patterns. The second way to do knowledge extension is SCC, size, color, count. Size as in big, 大, small, 小. When we talk about color, well, obviously colors. I usually show them my little color crayons. I don't know what these are called. And I ask them what their favorite color is, what color, let's say, the cat is, or anything that I'm teaching, I ask the color. For example, I'm going to show a photo of an apple. Then it's not enough that the student knows it's an apple and the student knows it's an apple. I'm also going to introduce the concept of color. So I'm going to ask, what color is the apple? 什么颜色? What color is the apple? 什么颜色? What color is it? Then I introduce the concept of red. In Chinese, it's 红色. So I'd say the Chinese translation first, then I'd say the English translation, 红色, red, red, red apple. Then you can prolong the sentence, make it a little bit longer, like say, it's a red apple. It's a red apple. You see, that's all about color. Now, speaking of apples, the last C is about count. So I'm going to show a photo of 3 apples, and I'm going to ask 多少, 多少, how many apples are there? 多少苹果? How many apples? 一, 二, 三, 1, 2, 3. 3 apples. Then you incorporate that to the sentence pattern that you taught them. There are 3 apples. There are 3 apples. You see? So that's how we incorporate SCC to knowledge extension. And trust me, teacher, if you do this, the parents will be so happy. You're going to be, drowning in 5 stars and good reviews. And your students would definitely love your class because they learned something new from you. And the third one is to share words related to what you are teaching. Expand your students' vocabulary. Let's say you were teaching the concept of cat. Instead of just focusing on cat, it's a cat. What color is the cat? Is it big or small? You can also introduce other animals on the same category as a cat. A cat is usually categorized as a pet, right? So you could introduce the concept of or the idea of a dog being a pet as well, or a rabbit. If let's say I'm doing a knowledge extension, I'm going to show my bunny ears. What is it? 这是什么？兔子 rabbit. It's a rabbit. Then I could also do knowledge extension by, asking more about the rabbit, right? So you are introducing similar concepts, similar words related to whatever you're teaching, therefore expanding your students' vocabulary. And teacher, for advanced learners, you can also introduce the concept of synonyms, words that have exactly the same meaning as whatever you're teaching them. Let's say you have an advanced learner or an intermediate learner and you're teaching the concept of big. Instead of just focusing on big, you could introduce other words that have the same meaning as big, like large, huge, gigantic, but gigantic might be too advanced, humongous. So you could introduce synonyms and let them know that they all mean the same. Then you could also ask the students to come up or to think of any word that means exactly the same as whatever word you're teaching. Let's say small. What other words mean small? Can you give teacher an example? Then the student would say, little, right? Little or tiny. So you could also get input from the student and ask them to give you synonyms related to the word you're teaching. The next one, of course, would be the opposite, antonyms. Let's say you're teaching the concept of tall. Well, you could teach the concept of short as the opposite. You can show them a photo. What I usually do is I get a photo of tall and short on the internet, and then I just paste it on the classroom so that they would have like a visual representation of what tall and short looks like. Again, if your student is advanced, you will have them think of an opposite word. Let's say you're teaching the concept of fat. What's the opposite of fat? If they don't understand the word opposite, then use translations to their language. Let's say, what's the opposite of the word fat? Then the student would think, thin. Then, of course, you would be rewarding them and acknowledging them for being able to answer it correctly. If the student is unable to understand it, maybe it's too advanced, again, show them a visual representation of fat and thin for them to easily grasp the new concept. The next one is for advanced learners as well. Homophones. When we say homophones, these would be words that sound the same but have different meanings. Let's say whole, a whole versus the whole world, or the word flu being sick versus the past tense of fly. The word high, 你好, high versus the word high, up high. Right? You would have to introduce this concept and make sure that when you do that, there must always be Chinese translations. Your goal is to, again, to enrich your students' vocabulary and for them to be able to use these new words on their own after class. Because teachers, whatever you teach the students would be totally worthless if they will not be able to use it in their everyday lives. So, whatever you're teaching them, you have to have that mindset that, hey, my student should be able to do this in her everyday life. She should be able to, use this whenever she speaks English. And the last one would be ethics or customs. You are like a second parent to the child, to that student you're teaching. So you can also teach them, let's say, the concept of saying please, thank you, even though they're not related to the lesson. Let's say the student wants the pen so that they could write on the class blackboard. They would say, give me pen. Don't say give me pen. You have to be polite. You say, teacher, please give me the pen. Can you say that for teacher? There you go. So basically, teach us. You taught your student how to be polite. Now, you can introduce the concept of thank you. Now that you've given them the pen, the authority to write on the blackboard, you'd say, what would you say to teacher? 谢谢. Thank you. Very good. Now, let's say you're teaching the student the concept of road signs. What red means. Red means stop. Green means go. You can also teach them the safety precaution of looking right and left. Right and left before they cross the street. That's a safety precaution that you could teach the student. And again, it's going to be knowledge extension because they'd be able to use it in their everyday lives. There you go, teachers. Different ways on how we can do knowledge extension activities for kids, students. And again, kids, students ranging from beginners, intermediate to advanced learners. These are things that you could do so that the parents would really love you. Because, teachers, whenever you're teaching kids, the student and the parents must love you, right? So you must impress them both. And these things would give you, high star ratings, good reviews from the students or the parents. And you would be fully booked in no time if you do these things. By the way, teacher, I'm going to to be making a second video about knowledge extension for kids. And that second video will be all about examples, actual examples on how we could do knowledge extension. I'm going to be showing you, let's say, a particular slide on the teaching material and how we could do knowledge extension on that particular slide so that you could have like that you could see an actual demonstration and how to do it. So, teachers, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, Teacher Karen, and click the bell icon to get notified for video uploads. If you have any questions or any video requests, feel free to comment below. So I'm going to say goodbye now. Don't forget to be a blessing to the people around you. Goodbye.